a few things that I'm going to ask them some particular questions. But then after that, I'm going to just let them share because I think they have a lot. And I had the opportunity to interview them last week on a Zoom call. So if you haven't seen that, go to our CBMC website and click on that and check that out because it was really great. I loved it. The time that we spent together, I mean, just kind of went like that. And I got a chance to hear their story. I got a chance to get to know them a little bit. Even got a little, even after the call, we stayed online. We talked a bit. We talked about a connection we have to Inglewood High here and some things and how that all transpired. So it was really exciting. And I'm excited for what they're doing. And I'm excited to have them here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going. We're going to use one mic, so you guys are going to have to share. All right, you're going to have to share. But we're going to do this. We're going to start first with the ladies, and we're just going to give us a brief story of just how you came to the Lord first. We're going to start there, okay?
So I went to Fresno State in 1999, actually 98. He's 99, I was 98. Yep. I played volleyball there for 4 years. I met Noel in 1999, and I was not going to Bible study in college. Not even close. So I went to a couple things in high school, paraded the flagpole with a couple of friends who I thought were cool. Not really sure what it meant. I believed in God, but I was one of those people that was like, me and God, we're good. He knows me. We're good. I can do what I want, and he just will be okay. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like there was a God there, but didn't really have any conviction on my life. And I came to reconnect with him. We met in college. We remained friends, lost touch after school, and I found him in 2005, back before we had, like, Facebook and stuff. You actually had to know somebody who had somebody's phone number, and I had to pick up the phone and call him. Like, we even had to, remember when you had like 200 text messages per month? So I didn't even waste a text message. I just made a phone call. And so, not that it would have been a waste, but I was counting my text messages at the time. I didn't want to pay overages. So I picked up the phone and made a phone call and reconnected with him after college. And on one of our first trips hanging out, because he was already well into his pro career by then, or at least starting out into your pro career. And I went to go see him in Seattle. And he started playing some worship music, gospel music to be specific. Mm-hmm. And there was this song, and it was calling my heart. And it said, "Lead me to the rock." And I was crying. I'm like, why am I crying? Like, what rock? Like, what's the rock? I mean, what's happening, Yeah. So that's where it all started, and it took me a long, long time to gain my boldness and my understanding of Christ, but that's definitely how it started for me as far as my walk with Christ. So it was all back in 2005 in Seattle with Noel Felix. That's how it started for me. Yeah.
Thanks for having us again, and again, Tom, Pup, appreciate you both. You guys have been very influential in everything we've done to bless this community, and we look forward to continuing to do that. But for me, it's funny, I just thought about it while you were talking. I got baptized twice, actually. So the first time I got baptized, I gave my life to the Lord at 9 years old at Pilgrim Missionary Baptist Church on 45th and Wadsworth in South Central Los Angeles. And I felt, when I got baptized at that age, I felt renewed, but it was funny because I was like, well, I'm going to heaven and I'm good, and so I just kept that. But the choir was where I really enjoyed going to church and going to choir rehearsal. So I was a tenor, and I couldn't really sing, but I was a part of the church, so I would look at the tenors like, praise the Lord, yeah. I loved it, right? And so then I became an usher, and so I was involved in my church actively when I was young, and I've done that ever since. That's when I gave my life to the Lord. But Shauna and we both got baptized together from the Rock Church of San Diego. It was called a plunge, and it's one of the coolest sights you could see because it was dedicated to baptizing Christians. And so it was a line going around a pool, and pastors would be in the pool, and they would just dunk us. And it was just one of the coolest things to see. So I don't know why I haven't thought about that. But we got baptized together, and we got a plaque and a picture of it. And that was when we got baptized together. Mm-hmm. And so I got baptized twice.
That was my first time.
And that was her first time. And so that's when I rededicated my life with my wife to the Lord even more so.
That was in 2007.
Yeah, 2007.
All right, let's give it up. Good job there. Appreciate that sharing that story, man. So I'm going to move on to the second question because, like I said, I don't have very many questions because I'm going to let them loose here in a little bit. But secondly, what I think I'd like for you guys to let everyone know here, just talk a little bit about, we've kind of touched on it a bit, but let's talk about your career and your sports, the things that you did at Fresno State. And then, and a little bit with that, talk about, you mentioned you guys reconnected, and then a little bit about the family life. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about Fresno State. Give us some background on the sports, and then your family life, and then we'll go to the main thing after that. All right? Sure. And I want Noel to start because I got a feeling that if I give this to Shauna, I might not get it back. So I want to give Noel one more shot here before we give it up. Okay?
Well, I won't be too long, but one of the things coming to Fresno State was an absolute blessing to me. But I have to acknowledge the truth and the full circle that God revealed to me as I got older. So I mentioned giving my life to the Lord at 9 years old. The first time I ever left Los Angeles was to come to Fresno, and it was to a church convention for choirs, and it was in 1990. So the first time I ever left Los Angeles was to come here, and I stayed at the Holiday Inn downtown Fresno, and it was December 26th to New Year. And I never forget that trip because when I went there and we stayed in the hotel is facing south. Our room was on the left side, so it would be facing the east. And I looked at the Selling Arena, and that building, it was enamoring to me for whatever reason. But 9 years later, I ended up playing the last college game there against Nevada Wolfpack. We won a double overtime in the Selling Arena. So it was a full circle that God gave me to say when I was a kid, my first time out of L.A., I would go to this school and then win the WAC conference there. And my wife, funny, just found the ring last week in the garage.
Did find your ring.
Yeah, so I got 2 rings at Fresno State. And I was able to play for Jerry Tarkanian, who was one of the best coaches I've ever played for. And I was very fortunate to be taught the game under him, and he always gave me confidence. I was always excited to talk to him about Long Beach State days, and even when he played. So that was my college career. And then professionally, I was very fortunate to travel the world. Once I lived my NBA career playing in Seattle with the Seattle Sonics, I chose to play anywhere that I have not been. So I've played in China, Italy, Israel, Lebanon, Qatar, Tunisia, Egypt, Philippines, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, and Puerto Rico.
Okay, so I was being recruited by Fresno State. I had never heard of Fresno ever in my life. I'm from San Diego. I had no idea where Fresno was. But their coach came right to my front door, which I thought was impressive, along with the North Carolina coach, which was my dream, to go to North Carolina. I told my grandma, first of all, Fresno, okay, I won't make it top option, but it's an option that if I go there, I vow and swear forever I'll never date a basketball player. Promise. I promised right then and there. You don't have to worry about that. It's not my focus. I'm all about sports. And so I promised my grandma I would never date a basketball player, which is why I didn't. When we were here, we had a thing. Have you ever seen Hotel Transylvania 3? You guys have kids? You guys have kids when the vampire guy, he said, "We zinged." Remember that? Him and the lady, we zinged. There's a zap there of love connection. Well, that happened in 2001. We zinged, right? But I promised my grandma, so I just couldn't even go there. Couldn't do it. Sorry, babe. So I went quickly home back to San Diego. I played volleyball at Fresno State for 4 years. I actually injured myself. And it kind of set the course of my fitness life forever, actually. So volleyball ended for me then, and I just got the chance to support him and focus on his sport. And then now, thanks to God and the connections, like I said, Pup, connected me to the Madera Sand Camp, so I've been coaching for a couple seasons out there now. So volleyball has found its way back into my life, and our 10-year-old son, who of course is supposed to grow up and play basketball, loves volleyball. So,
Yay.
so my heart is full. And that's my sports story.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. All right. So here we go. I want you guys to talk. We're going to talk about this sign over here, Give Culture, and what that means to them, what it's all about, and they're going to really lay it down to you, and it's powerful. So I want you guys to share that, but also just give us a little bit about, because you guys do this together, right? This is a husband and wife. They have five kids, and they run a business together. Right, so this is a challenge. They are definitely blessed by the Lord to be able to do this, to work it out, to have this ministry, to work hand in hand together. So just give us a little bit of snippet of how it is to work with one another in a business and raise a family, and then give us the rundown on what exactly is Give Culture.
Okay.
You first.
Okay. Well, for me,
You could do the family. Talk about the family.
yes, for me. Obviously, 2020 was a rough year for all of us. That was where we really had to be on the same page, because it was difficult running a business and also being a teacher at home for a number of kids. So she had to do that, and it was very hard for her. And I chose to be on site at work. I work in Clovis Unified as a transitions coordinator. So I work with students with social and emotional issues. But coming home, I had to reset and also work at home in a sense where Shauna, she would be empty. Like, she would have to pour into the kids, and she had a schedule to keep up, and keeping up with people that also work with us in our business. And so that was a very, very tough challenge for us at home. But our family, our family, we operate in teamwork. And, no day is ever really perfect, but it's like a conditioning as an athlete. So if you run for long periods of time, you can recover your heart rate quicker over time. So me and Shauna, I would say that over time when we struggle, we recovered quickly. Whether it's an argument, I like to take a long time and let her simmer in whatever it is, right? But I learned how to, okay, I don't want her to feel bad too long, so let me go back and fix it, and I apologize. So I try to recover quicker, the conditioning of our marriage. I try to, okay, I don't want to let her stay out. If I storm off, get in the car to drive away, I don't even cut the car, I just walk back in, okay. I'm sorry. Let's move on. So that has really helped me. And
the I'm sorry never really comes that quick, right?
I'm working on it. I'm still working on it.
That was pretty cool.
I'm still working. When I leave a good point, when I have a good point, I'm like, sit on that point for like 3 hours. I go to my buddies, and then, I'll come home, But I've learned how to, okay, she got to do with these kids. Let me be more patient, have some more compassion. So it's a constant. And my point in sharing it that way is just to say that I'm always trying to be better in my marriage. I don't want to focus on any negative. I want to focus on the positive. So that's where I was very cognizant of that, because of what I saw with parents and how they handle their kids around me. So our brand is about choosing to see the good in other people, really. And it's the seed to plant for God to work through us with our actions. So my shirt today says, give patience, right?
That's not my story. That's not my part.
I choose to be patient, and it's my accountability partner. And so when I go around and I wear my shirt, I wear it with pride to say, I'm here to serve you, period. That's it. My job is to serve. My job is to love you. And God will do the rest as he uses me, so you can see God through me. Now, we don't acknowledge God as much as we should in the school setting, but how I treat my students consistently, they develop the trust, they develop love for me, and I will do anything for my kids. So that's something that I try to do on a daily basis, because from a basketball standpoint, my focus was to go into a game and impact that game with energy, rebounding, being an athlete. And now I try to use the same intangibles that I use on the basketball court in our school district with our kids while I'm walking through Target. I want to be as present as I can, and I use this brand as a tool to do so. So that tool is not something that just for me, it's for all of us, because giving kindness means one thing to me. It can mean something completely different to you, Doc, or it can mean something different to you, Jack. Being kind to someone else, because that's what we're lacking. We're losing that with our kids because they're so caught up in how they feel as opposed to what they should do. which is things that gives you integrity, it gives you perseverance, it gives you those things that you need to be able to sustain a job when you're older. That's something that we're lacking with our kids that's coming up. And that's just from me seeing with my own two eyes the kids I'm trying to educate. So it's an urgency on my heart to always share, choosing to see the good in other people.
First things first, shout out to you for always doing dishes, vacuuming, all the things that I didn't get to, that you would usually come home and would be done.
You're welcome.
Were not able to be done because I was busy. And he came home after a busy day and would do them for me. So, and every once in a while, I would say sorry too. Once in a while. So I want to tell you guys a quick story that impacted me in a big way. I had the privilege of being a substitute teacher for 12 years when Noel was playing professionally overseas. Being a substitute gave me the flexibility to choose when I want to work and be off when I want to be off and not have to answer to anybody. And when I was growing up, I kind of grew up, my mom was a fighter. My mom was 19 when she had me. My dad picked some other chick to marry, so she was upset. My stepmom was a fighter, and they fought each other. And so I just thought that that's how we handle our problems. Like, we have a problem, we just fight. That's just what it is. You want to take it outside? We take it outside. I'll take care of it. No problem. So, like, needless to say, I kind of walked around with that bigness, even though it's actually smallness on the inside, but bigness on the outside. And so I didn't have a heart for bullying. When the early 2000s came around, bullying was a thing. I was like, come on, like, get a grip, get a tough skin. It's just words. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. You know what I mean? And so that was something I was raised hearing. And then I had the privilege of working in the high schools, at the high school level, and I was a substitute teacher. And for whatever reason, God gave me a heart for teenagers and gave them a heart for me. And so I would hear stories from teenagers of things that were said to them, things that were done to them, things that people would say or do behind their back, or text about them, or post about them, or some picture that they took once upon a time when they were friends is now all over the place, and it's just detrimental to their social life, their self-esteem, their love for themselves, their confidence. And so I would hear these stories of teenagers who were just wrecked by words, wrecked by words. And I went to a high school. I'm not going to say which high school because it's just, I want to be fair to San Diego because I love where I'm from. But I went to one particular high school who had 3 teen suicides in 2 semesters. 3 kids from that same school had taken their life in 2 semesters. And I would have the opportunity or maybe the responsibility of showing up at school the next day, and everybody would show up and light a candle and put a flower down and say a little vigil, and they would have, everybody would say, oh, he was so nice, it's so sad, he was sweet, he was so smart, he was so funny, like, I had no idea, he was my friend, he sat next to me. And I would think to myself, like, did you tell him that? Did he know that you felt that way? Did you ever make him feel valued? Because obviously he didn't feel worthy enough to stay here. Somebody had no problem cutting him down, but who's lifting him up? Who's telling him that he matters? Who's telling him that his shoes are cool or that he's smart at math and let's be together on this project? And I just got so frustrated seeing kids continually show up to acknowledge and show love to someone that is no longer here. Like, you're too late. It's too late. You have to show someone that they matter to you while they're still here. Why didn't you tell him that yesterday? You're crying for someone that you didn't even speak to yesterday. You didn't even acknowledge him. Maybe if you had, he'd be here. Like, I just grew this like frustration in my heart watching these kids just tear each other down. And then someone would make some big drastic move and then we'd all cry. It just didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand. And I grew a heart for bullying, right? Although it never really officially happened to me until later in life. Now we have haters and stuff like that. You know, I still got that thick skin, don't worry. I don't take it outside anymore, okay? But I still have the thick skin. My kids are another story. I'll take them out. Take them outside. No, but I just felt a need. No, this is my fan now. I felt a need to create something that would give a person an opportunity or feel charged or feel moved or feel empowered to impact someone else with the simple things, the little things. Often at church, a lot of us are churchgoers. We're all believers here. So we go to church and you hear the word give and you automatically think what? Money. Hello? Money. You hear give, you think money. Especially as believers, churchgoers, that's just what we do. And that's what we do. And that's the right thing. Fine. In the church, fine. But what can you give that doesn't cost money? What can you give for free? You can give someone a compliment. You can give kindness. You can give encouragement, compassion. You can give someone confidence by saying something nice to them and letting them know that you see them and they matter to you. You can give to someone, whether we've been married for 12 years this year.
Yeah.
What I give every day matters. And then when I go to 7-Eleven in the morning, which I'm not supposed to do anymore because I made some promises to myself, but I still show up on time from time to time. But when I go to 7-Eleven in the morning and I get my, treats or whatever, I have an opportunity to give kindness to the person at the coffee bar and to give kindness to the person behind the counter who's got a line out the door and she's stressed because everybody's waiting on her. And I say, take your time. I don't have any kids with me. Yep. Take your time. Take all the time you need. But that's just an opportunity to demonstrate the heart of Jesus to someone who may not know him. So here's a quick Bible stat that changed my whole life. I had this idea. We came up with the idea, and then I just sort of left it there. There's a big long story, but I won't keep you all. And then 6 months after we had the idea, I heard a sermon from a guy named Rick Warren, who we all know and love very well. He did a 9-week series. So when Noel and I were apart, we would listen to church online because we couldn't attend church together. So week 9 of a 12-week series, he did Daring Faith was the series, and week 9 was Dare to be Generous. And he listed 10 ways that you're honoring God by being generous. And then he gave me a Bible stat, changed the course of my life forever. He said the Bible says the word love 714 times. Like, love is important, right? Raise your hand if you think love is important. Love matters, right? 714 times. The Bible says the word give 2,152 times. So to truly, truly, truly honor God is to offer yourself to someone else. Even if it's just for a moment. And you want to look them dead in their eye and say, you matter to me. You matter to me. I love your shoes. Huh, Barbara, that's a good color on you, girl. That is a good color on you.
It is.
That'll help her stand up a little stronger, stand up a little straighter. Like, hey, you know what? It's a good color on me, isn't it? I knew I picked this for a reason, and that can change the whole direction of her day.
Yep.
I met a lady at a nail salon one time. I'm going to tell you this, and then maybe I'll give them my back. I met her at the nail salon, and we were getting our nails done, and she had this freaked out look on her face. She was so freaked out, and she had a little bag with a shiny dress in it, and she was looking for her color, and I said, I'll help you pick your color. What's the event? Where are you going? What are we doing? I talked to everybody, and so she's like, I'm so nervous. She had tennis shoes on. She had Birkenstocks on. She's so nervous. She's so nervous. I said, I'll help you. I'll pick the color. It's nude. It's easy. Okay, we'll go with something real neutral. Okay. And she's like, I haven't had my toes done in 18 years. I said, what? I haven't had my toes done in 18 days. What are you talking about? Why? 18 years? She said, I had a man once tell me that I had the ugliest feet he'd ever seen in his whole life. And I really loved that man. And he told me how horrible my feet were. And she's been wearing closed-toed shoes. We're from San Diego. You don't wear closed-toed shoes in San Diego. She's wearing tennis shoes for 18 years. I said, girl, you have the prettiest feet I've ever seen in my whole life. Don't let him lie to you. This color is what you're going to want. Take those off. They're going to give you some little flip-flops. Put that dress on, and don't believe that ever again, ever. Perfectly normal lady feet. I mean, come on. They're feet. Pretty can they be?
Right.
And I just thought to myself, one man told her one thing that impacted her for 18 years. Ooh. And I gladly took that opportunity to counteract that belief in her head and let her know, you deserve to wear those shoes and this dress with this color. And it just helped me to see that what we do is important. So Give Culture is the name of the brand. It's the culture or lifestyle of selflessness and really being mindful of how your actions and your attitude affect other people. So each one of our shirts says the word give followed by a different positive action word. We have 5 kids, so we love our Give Patience shirt.
I do.
We need to give patience every day.
Yeah.
But they say different things. Give kindness, give encouragement, give compassion, give hope. And the I in give is lowercase.
Yeah.
Can you guess why? Because it's all about putting other people's needs and feelings before your own.
Yep.
So when you see someone in a Give shirt, they could be covered from head to toe in tattoos, and you can instantly, or usually our instinct would be like, oh, well, I know where he spent the last 15 years of his life. He must be a prisoner, right? How many prisoners do we know with tattoos, right? Lots? You guys had lots of tattoos in there? Yeah, homemade ones too, huh? Yeah, so you can see someone and instantly assume and say, oh, well, he must be a hoodlum. Where I'm from, ink is art. I'm from the beach. Ink is art. And there's a person with a master's degree that has a neck tattoo, and you can't assume anything anymore. Oh, we shouldn't have ever, but you can't now, ever. Assume. So Give shirt gives you the opportunity to instantly know that person's heart. I don't know you. We may not look the same. We may not come from the same place. And we may not even believe the same things. Like, does Jesus say, go out there and only love other believers? No, absolutely not. Give culture, like God, is universal. It applies equally to each one of us. Each one of us has the opportunity to impact someone else in an instant or for a lifetime. Amen. How we treat others and what we say to them matters. Amen. You never know. When you throw a stone in the lake, you never know exactly how deep it goes, right? So when you cut someone with your words, you never know how badly it hurts them. So this is all about mindfulness and being mindful of how you impact someone with the way you speak and the way you act. We don't have to look the same to love the same. So that's what Give Culture is all about.